Hello and welcome to Procrastination Station. Procrastination as in procrastinating and that other thing that we all do. If you can put it together, then you're my people, and if you can't, perhaps click that next button. No shade. I'm your host Hannah, and I'm here to talk about self-sabotage in a way that invites all parts of us to come along for the journey. I'm here to lay out the setbacks and superpowers of self-sabotage in order to manage our limitations. Throughout the show, we'll discuss designing a life that works in your favor through sustainable creative practices. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's topic. Hello and welcome. I have something so special for you today. I have my friend here, Kristiana, and if you notice, we have a different setup. We're actually filming in her apartment today in the heart of Toronto. So excited because it's way better than what I have in just my bedroom at home. She's acting like it's nothing, but we spent probably the last hour at least moving plants and setting up and everything. And I'm really excited because it's something new, and I really hope that you enjoy as well. If you do, please let me know. Today, we are discussing self-care in entrepreneurship. So I would love to give Kristiana the floor to introduce her business and herself and what she does, and take it away, Chris.
Hello everyone, my name is Kristiana. I am the founder of LaboterraCosmetics. I am a newcomer here. I'm also a full-time student, and I'm trying to juggle everything around and also include the self-care into the everyday life. To start a little bit with my background, I have a background in pharmaceutical industry. I'm coming from Greece. I was studying and working in the pharmaceutical industry for more than 5-6 years.
Wow.
And then
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. And then I came here as an international student in Canada, also pursuing the pharmaceutical industry. And during COVID, I started formulating in my small apartment, and that's how I started Laboterra.
What do you sell with Laboterra?
So what Laboterra means is a combination of the words laboratory of earth. Terra in Latin means earth. So what I want to do is to incorporate the natural ingredients and the science behind the plants into the bath and body products that we use in our everyday life, which is also part of the self-care routine.
Yeah.
By using this product, it's like giving a little bit to yourself, a little bit of a push, or you are dedicating a little bit of time to just relax, and you are just making this time throughout the busy day and just dedicating to yourself, even if it's just a quick shower, if it's like whenever you are tired coming from work, from school, and you are just want to relax a little bit, and you just take a shower and apply a little bit of, I don't know, like a body cream or a face cream or whatever it is that you have like in your room. And this is self-care, right?
It is self-care. That's like a little gift to yourself, especially somebody who's a student as well as a business owner. You might have every hour of your day already accounted for, that having even like 15 minutes to be 100% present for yourself, to be able to give yourself the gift of self-care and applying lotion. Let's say you love the scent, and it's just like that split second where you're like rubbing your skin and you're taking it, you're bringing yourself back into your body.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a moment, I think that it's so special. And I also feel that your brand and your messaging and everything like that also really ties well into what we're talking about today.
Exactly. I totally agree.
I really love that.
And I know that like people in Toronto, especially in this crazy city, they don't have time. I am experiencing myself. You are experiencing yourself.
I get you.
We don't have time. So by pushing, I mean that, okay, just dedicate 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, just dedicate it to yourself. By, I don't know, it's not only body care products, it's also journaling that can help. Just walking at a park, like just, I don't know, staring at a wall. I don't know.
Looking at the window, counting sheep, like anything that can bring you back into your body in a place of love is self-care. Anything at all. It could be even looking in the mirror and saying 5 things you love about yourself. It could be affirmations. It could be meditation. It could be so many things, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. But when you find that thing that really fills your cup, and you can do that on a regular basis, your cup will always be full. And then you have the
Exactly.
energy to be your full best self when you are, let's say, in a class, or you're at a market, or you're selling yourself, or you're networking, or you're doing any of the things that busy adults do, right? I definitely feel that deep in my soul. So our topic today is on self-care, and as always, I've separated this topic into subtopics. Those topics being overworking, expectations, validation, and self-care. So we're going to have lots to cover today. I hope you stick around, and thank you so much for being with us. In terms of overworking, how do you balance your business on top of your studies?
Oh my god.
Something in that answer says that there's no balance.
Yeah, don't get me started. So yeah, it's really hard. As 2 days ago, I just finished final exams.
Woo!
So we are just right on topic.
Love it.
On time. Yeah, it's really hard,
Mm-hmm.
as you understood. It's really hard. But for me, at least, you have to make time for both. Like, you have to decide that, okay, today I'm going to sleep 5 hours instead of 8.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So no self-care is the answer. But that's okay. This is why this conversation is so perfect, because everybody deserves self-care, especially the people who don't get any, because even if you get that 10 minutes, that'll serve you for your whole day. And sometimes it really doesn't feel like you have 10 minutes, because that 10 minutes has to come from somewhere, and it's probably going to come from your sleep. And, you know, that's just the reality sometimes of being a student or being an adult. And honestly, it just is what it is. But you have to prioritize it and make a time, even if it's once a week, because that's all you can afford with your time right now. That is totally fine.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's totally fine. And something that's coming to mind with you saying that there's really no option but to make time for both. It's kind of like, if you've heard before, having a 5 to 9 and then having a 9 to 5. But you're in school, which does not follow a structured 9 to 5 schedule.
Yes.
So one day you might have 11 to 3, and then before 11 you're doing LaboterraCosmetics, and after school you're doing LaboterraCosmetics, and then before bed you have to find time to cook and clean and do your laundry and
survive,
and, you know, speak with your partner and all of these things. Like, it can be so challenging, and I definitely respect that. Something I find for myself in my self-care is that I don't have a pattern. I'm either high energy in the morning, or I'm low energy in the morning, or I'm high energy at night and I'm low energy at night. And there is no rhyme or reason to the way that my energy works. And when it comes to scheduling myself, it can be so challenging, because I could spend all day making a schedule, and then I get a migraine, and that whole thing is just garbage. Like, I can't do anything, right? So then how do I move all of these things and work it back into my schedule? And then I end up just not doing it because it doesn't work into my schedule anymore. And like, this is just, it's just part of the game, right? It's just part of figuring it out.
You know what is funny? That when you say that you are making your own schedule, and you feel like you are low some days in the morning, and you are more energetic towards, I don't know, night or some, like,
or vice versa.
Yes. Yeah. Another thing, like, a funny thing for me is that I make all this schedule ahead, because I have to know that, okay, that day I have this meeting. Funny fact, we scheduled this meeting. I don't know, we are talking about this podcast around a year now.
So. Like, almost to the date. We've been planning this for a year.
Yes.
And 2 busy adults take a year to meet for 3 hours to be able to do the thing.
Exactly. And another thing is that whenever I make this schedule, or I plan everything, and then whenever I'm at my lows, as you said, like, there are some days that you don't want to do anything. Like, you just want to relax. You just want to sleep. You just want to watch Netflix. And then I open my schedule, and I see I have meetings. I have things to do. And in my head, I'm like, who planned for this? Who did this to myself? Why I did this to myself? So yeah, I would say that it is so funny, because I'm blaming myself. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I schedule? But, you know, there are, like, things that you have to do. So.
Yeah. And yesterday you had such high hopes for tomorrow, and then when tomorrow comes around, you're like, why did I
think that this was a good idea.
It was a good idea, right?
But you know what? I think that there's balance in that too, because it was a good idea, but you didn't necessarily know that, you know, Tuesday you would have a really low day. And like, for me, the balance comes from picking and choosing my battles. If I have a meeting, and this is just my personal preference, I will not reschedule a meeting unless I absolutely have to. If I'm showing up to that meeting half of who I am and I'm not energetic and I can't fulfill it, then I won't go. But 9 times out of 10, I will go because I can at least fake it. However, if it's me on the line for the things that I have planned, and today I wanted to do all of the things, but I decided that just chilling in my bed and doing, like, playing on my phone or like on Netflix or any of these things, if I realize that that is actually what I need today, then that's what I need today. Yes. And as long as I'm not disappointing my clients, or, you know, if I'm not fulfilling on my end of the bargain or anything like that, like, as long as I'm fulfilling on my end of the bargain with other people, I don't need to fulfill the bargain with myself.
That's
because
okay.
It is okay, because all of the deadlines that I set, honestly, are arbitrary. And that's the case for literally any deadline. The only thing is I don't like disappointing people. But, you know, even then, sometimes you can say, you know what, I can't come to this meeting because if I show up, I'm going to be half asleep.
Yeah. So what I was doing, like, lately is that I'm a visual learner. Like, I want to see things.
Me too.
In my room or like in my studio or whatever. I can have like the whole wall just empty and just like write my thoughts or like write whatever I have in my head. Mm-hmm. It will be great. It will be ideal. So I'm doing something similar. I'm writing my whole to-do list. So let's say both, like, for the business and school, I have to do these assignments. I have to do these markets. I have to do this production and stuff. And then I prioritize which one is more emergent to do. And then I make like a to-do list with a priority. Like, first it should be the one that hits the deadline earlier, and then second and third and so on. And whenever I see it on paper, I see that, okay, that's not that big a deal. Like, I can do it. Like, it's not too many things. Mm-hmm. But also another thing is that I should divide it into days. Like, Monday, I have to do 3 things. That's all. And you should stop there. Trust me. Yeah. Because otherwise you don't have, you can't do it, like, physically. You can't do it. Like, you have to write a certain amount of tasks that you have to do, like reply to certain amount of emails or texts or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, when I take like this list and I see like, oh, Monday I have like 3 tasks and I don't did them all, then you get like a boost of confidence that, okay, I can go throughout the week. It wasn't that bad. Like, it wasn't that hard. Yeah. So that's how it came, like, the balance between school or like 2 different things, like work and school, or school and business, or whatever.
I really love that. I really, really love that. And I feel like, say for example, if you are doing doing your things on Monday and you have 3 tasks and only 3 tasks because you have the weekend to rest, and then, like, say for example you have still extra energy. Yes. And then, like, you only have 3 tasks on your list. If you stop at those 3 tasks, you still might have energy left over to finish Tuesday's tasks.
That's true.
And so on. And this is where, like, the overworking piece comes in, because by overworking and pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion, at every single chance that you have even a glimpse of energy, your body's not going to want to give you more energy. Exactly. They're like, you're going to push me too hard.
Yeah, you're going to wake up on Tuesday and say, like, no, I'm not doing it anymore.
Exactly. You know? And I feel like sometimes we have to treat ourselves as if we are the parent and the child.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I pat myself every time. Like,
I'm proud of you.
You did well today. But also, funny thing, every time that I am going through a really hard, like, week or, like, exam period or whatever, like, a period of my life that it's really, really busy and I have to do a lot of things to do, and I finish with success, I give myself a treat.
Me too. Oh my god, I love treats. Whether it's a sweet treat or a smelly treat,
or like eating out, like a restaurant, hanging out with a friend, just sitting in the park, and it's working. It's working.
I love treats.
Yeah.
Oh, I love treats. Okay, lovely.
It's part of self-care, right?
It is totally part of self-care. Oh my god. Sweet treats are my favorite
Yeah.
self-care.
Boba.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love boba too. I love boba. For me, it's ice cream. Please.
It's basically, at the end of the day, it's you against you.
Yes.
That you are pushing yourself to fulfill things, to meet your ends, to do whatever you place in your schedule. It's you against you. Like, you have to push yourself to do like stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
However, there's balance in that. To push yourself sometimes and to just give in.
Exactly. There are days that you're gonna push yourself, but there are days that you will treat yourself.
Yes.
That you will stay in bed, that you will watch Netflix all day. It's totally okay, right?
I love that so much. And it is totally okay. And something that I like to tell myself sometimes is, if you feel guilty for resting, you're not resting.
That's true.
Because if your mind is running marathons, you might as well be running a marathon.
Exactly.
And that can be, at least for me, the hardest part of taking any time for self-care is, how do I not feel guilty for this self-care?
Resting, yes.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have any tips on that, but I
should record you and like listen to this. Like,
I mean, we are recording it.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, every time, I don't know, because I'm a student now, that I have this in my mind that I'm always studying. I have to be studying, even if I'm not doing anything, or if I'm going somewhere. Let's say I have an exam and I'm going for a picnic or for a walk with my parents or anything. I will take my laptop with me, my computer, because I feel like I'm studying. Even I don't even open it.
Yeah.
Because I satisfy myself that, okay, I have it here, I can open it, I can study.
I do the exact same thing. Like, I bring my laptop. I swear to God, I've brought my laptop on dates.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, oh, I don't know why I have this thing. I don't need it right now. But there's something in my mind that tells me, what if you happen upon a cafe and you have this perfect nook to sit down and work, and if you don't have your laptop, you'll be disappointed.
Exactly.
And it's so funny because there's, again, balance in that, because I love being present with the people that I love. I don't want to be thinking about work when I'm on a date. Like, that's just terrible. But there is also this room for allowance to be able to give yourself those opportunities. Like, I don't think it's a problem to bring your laptop, even if it might be slightly silly.
It is so silly, but still, like, in my head, I'm okay because I have my laptop, so I'm not cheating, you know?
Yeah.
Right? It feels like, sometimes it feels like cheating. Like, whenever I'm not studying, or I'm not working with Laboterra, or I'm not responding to my emails, I feel like I'm cheating.
Oh, no!
So, yeah, that's a major no-no. I feel like I'm such a boring person.
Not at all, bro. Not at all.
I don't have any hobbies. Like, I don't know. I like dancing. I used to dance when I was little.
Oh, I love that.
Professional dance.
No way.
Yeah, I was dancing like from 5 years old till high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I have no rhythm.
I love music. But music, it's part of my self-care as well.
I love, actually, music is, that's another good thing too to talk about in terms of self-care, is like, first of all, like, listening to music that you love, even if you're busy doing something else, that can be an act of self-care. You're technically multitasking your self-care. But another thing, if you find, like, sometimes I like to listen to more like punk or alternative or like different types of music.
Country.
I like country too. I really like folk country, like really old school. Like,
yeah, I love it.
And I also, it's really funny. I could go on a whole tangent about like the music I like. If you're ever feeling like, let's say, for example, you love rock music and punk music and all of these things, and you're feeling like you're in a hole, sometimes looking at the type of music that you consume, or even to broaden it out, the type of content that you consume, like Instagram kind of thing, your Instagram feed, like what is it that's coming into you? What do you like most? Yes, but then also experimentation.
Trying something new.
Something new. Like, let's say you like rock music, it's heavy metal, and you're feeling sad. Maybe try some old country, because I know for myself, when I listen to rock, I'm more likely to speed in my car.
Yeah.
Yes. But when I have country, I'm more likely to go with the flow, and I don't care about traffic, and it makes a huge difference in the way that you feel on the inside. So that could be something too for anybody listening who wants more self-care in their life. but doesn't have the time and doesn't know where to start. Even looking at the type of music you listen to and changing it up could be
That's
awesome.
so true. And
Yeah.
I have like actually funny story also, not related to podcast, but I want to share with you.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I know you know that I was planning to go on a vacation because I desperately needed. Like
Yeah.
after all these things during summer, I wanted to go on vacation, and then I realized last moment that my husband, his passport was expired 2 years ago, so there's no vacation for us. I guess.
You should go on a girls' trip. Even if it's a solo girl trip.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah. So I always wanted to go to Ibiza.
Yeah.
Ibiza, how you say it?
I actually don't know. It's spelled Ibiza, but I think it's
Ibiza.
technically Ibiza.
Ibiza.
I think it is technically Ibiza.
So it is, it's in Spain, and they play this house music that I love, and all these famous DJs, and you are partying from the night till the morning and all this stuff. And I was so inspired. Like, I wanted to go so bad.
Yeah.
And this summer I was like so tired. And what I did, I found all this music that inspired me, or like they are related to Ibiza, let's say, and I made a playlist on Spotify.
I love that.
Yes,
it's almost like you're transporting yourself there, even if you can't be there in person.
Yes.
I love that.
So I'm like manifesting it, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like you're putting yourself in that energy of like, how would I feel when I am there?
Right?
And then carrying that with you, like as simple as like on your commute to work or something.
Yes. And it has like changed my psychology at all. Like
even
if you check my Spotify right now, it's like summer in Ibiza.
Oh, I love
and
that.
it has like all this Spanish kind of music with like house, and I got really inspired, like just from listening to this music. Like my whole psychology changed. I'm like, okay, we cannot go on vacation this summer, but we can go like, I don't know, in December or maybe another time. So it gave me like power to like to push myself, or like to pat myself on the shoulder and say like, okay, it's fine, we got this.
We'll make it there one day.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So even like small things like that, like it will boost your kind of psychology, I can say, like it will boost your day-to-day life routine, or it will change like your perspective, or even if you are down some days, or it will give you like the energy to surpass like these bad moments that you are facing.
Absolutely, like bringing a little bit of the beach into your storm kind of thing.
Yeah,
I love
like
that.
those small things that will change like everything. Even what I have something with the scents. Sorry.
It's okay. It's literally both of us, I think.
So yeah, I have another thing with memories and the scents. So for me, every summer, let's say, or everything that I have experienced, it has a scent in my mind. So that's a part of Laboterra, of what I'm trying to do. And scientifically speaking, the scents have a connection with the mind and with the psychology of how your perspective towards other things related to your daily life. And for me, it's that even a cologne that I was, like a perfume that I was using during a vacation that I was in Greece, let's say, even if I smell this, it will bring me like good memories, and my whole psychology will change with it.
I love that so much, and like I
don't know if you have experienced something like
that.
I
really do actually.
Some scents that trigger you a memory.
I absolutely do. Your scents are definitely connected to your memories. I actually think I've heard that there's been studies that like scents hold the strongest connection to memories as any other sense in our body. So you could smell cookies baking, you're like, oh my god, it's my mom's cookies, and it just brings you right back to childhood.
Right?
Totally. And I actually, first of all, I find it so interesting that like your brand is essentially in scents, like with Laboterra, with your bath products and soaps and lotions and all the things. All of that is centered around scents. So I just find that like so perfect. But also, I tend to be very smell sensitive. So I've talked about my migraines before on the show, and sometimes, not all the time, things like heavy perfumes and heavy scents tend to really affect me with that. Or even just to go a step further, it can affect my mental health before it affects my physically,
Yeah.
exactly. It's kind of like that's the last thing to really punish me for being in the same room as a scent. But anyway, I've actually not even started, I've been doing it for quite a long time. I've been using aromatherapy
That helps
as a method to work through chronic pain. And I wouldn't say that it ever cures it, but I use like peppermint oil, let's say, when I have a migraine. It's like just takes the edge off.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's no longer like the only thing I can think about, and it's just to add a little bit more balance to the situation. And it does work for me, but I really love that, like having like your Greece vacation perfume to use when you're in school, let's say, or whatever. I think that's really great.
So, fun fact also, you have migraines, right?
Yes.
You know what you should check? You should try. You know, whenever you get migraines, you have to fill a bucket with hot water and soak your feet in.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, actually, I've never tried that, but I definitely should, and I've actually heard of it before too.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll actually even take it a step further to say you put your feet in hot water and then something cold on your neck.
On your neck, yeah.
And then like have that contrasting temperature.
Yeah.
I actually will try it, and I'll let you know, and I'll let you guys know too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it has a science behind. Because you know, like migraines is like the accumulation of pressure, kind of like the blood in your brain, like your head and up. So you are trying to
like draw the blood down.
Yes, like to like all the blood to go down, like to have like a normal flow.
Yeah.
So hot, whenever you place something hot in your, in your body, in your veins, whatever, it will make the veins bigger.
Yeah.
Or like how do you say it? Like,
it expands the blood vessels.
Yes,
I think.
exactly.
Yeah.
And same does caffeine.
Yeah. You know what's funny is every time I have a migraine, I have caffeine.
Yes.
My favorite migraine medicine is a Tim Hortons ice cap. And it's like all sugar, all cream, and like this much coffee in there. And like I honestly only have them when I have migraines because they're just so bad for you, but like they're also so tasty. But I do find that they make a difference. Like even if it's just like that boost in the moment, that helps me like break through like that peak of the pain.
Please, yeah, you should definitely do this.
But I love that too because that's natural. Like,
yes, it's natural.
No harm done with doing it, or at least giving it a try. So now to move us on to our next topic of expectations.
Oh.
I feel like this is a big one for both of us. So my first question within this topic is, how can we manage our expectations of ourselves? Because I feel that's the person who expects the most.
That's such a good question. But I don't have a straight answer to
That's
this
okay.
Because
that's the point of the show, really. We quantify things that can't really be quantified. So I would just love to know your perspective.
So that's my toxic trait that I'm not satisfied with whatever I'm doing in my life. Like even I went through a really hard let's say hard exam and I did well. I'm still not satisfied. I'm like, okay,
but I got 98, not 100.
Yeah, exactly. Or with the sales, like, okay, I did well to this market, or for the month, I had like a really good month. I'm like, yeah, but there are other businesses that are like, they are hitting 6 figures.
Yeah.
So I can do better.
Yeah.
You know? And this is really bad for yourself. Yeah. I know it's sad. I'm trying my best.
It's okay. And I don't want you to feel any type of shame or guilt from this question either, because it's something that I also struggle with. I expect the world of myself, and I'm like, yeah, everybody deserves self-care except for me. And like, it's ridiculous because I know that's not true. I know it so deeply in my whole body, but it's like my head doesn't want to agree.
Yes.
And if I can offer you some perspective on that in terms of expectations, something that I do try and remind myself, and again, this is a try, it's not perfect.
Trial and error.
Yes. I like to try and tell myself that 80% is good enough.
Exactly.
And like just finding those moments in the day, like especially when you are wanting to be a perfectionist or when you're wanting to excel at something, finding certain cases where like just good enough is good enough. Like let's say, for example, like you're working a market with with Laboterra, you might want your setup to be absolutely perfect. And that's, you know
every
what?
time.
That's okay, because you know what? It works for you, and I've worked with your brand, and people love your brand, and they remember it. Yeah. So I would say in that scenario, using your perfectionism is like, that's an outlet. That's where it's needed, and that's where it serves you best. But let's say with school, you only need, like, no schooling program expects you to get 100% to pass. Yeah. So if you kind of look at, like, what's the minimum I need to pass this whole program, maybe aim like 5% above it, and then anything above that is great.
It's okay. You know, my friend is saying, C's get degrees.
So. Yeah, no, literally. Like, your doctor could have had C's throughout university. Maybe not exactly doctors, but, like, any
I
profession.
can assure you that doctors, they can fail. They probably have failed, like, exams and stuff. So
absolutely. And you can retake them, and, like, this is not to discredit any doctors or anything, because they still have the training, and they also have the resources to continue their learning after they've gotten their degrees.
Totally. But still, like, even, I don't know, like, pharmacists, scientists, I don't know, astronauts.
Marketers, business owners, like, you know, something funny that occurs to me frequently. Yeah. Anybody on this planet, anybody can start a business.
Of course.
And, like, that's a great thing, but that's also means anybody can start a business. And
when you think about it, anybody.
Literally just anybody. Any Joe Blow off the street can start a business, and you know, there's circumstances where, you know, alignment is so important, because having a business that you can passionately say, like, this is a solution for people, or this is something people need or people want. Like, you can't just start any business and be successful. That's not what I'm saying. But comparing yourself to other people, you have no idea their background. That's true. Even if there's a business out there with 6 figures, I know you started this in this apartment. These people out here making 6 figures, how many other people on their team do they have? How many people do they also pay? How much do they spend on advertising? Like, all of these things count. And
how much money they invested. Like, so.
And another thing, too, is you can see a business that says, like, 6 figures in revenue, but that's not necessarily profit.
That's true.
Because even if they're making 6 figures, they're probably still only paying themselves a comfortable wage. But
there are other factors that are
I was
totally agree.
There's this YouTuber I like to watch sometimes. Her name's Katie Steckley. She does a lot of, like, YouTube growth, Instagram growth, like that type of thing, tutorial videos and information videos. She did a breakdown of her finances and what she gets in her business, and of course she's doing killer. Love her, and she's also been doing it for a long time, and she started from nothing. So for her to be sharing this, it's just amazing. It's like inspiration. The thing is, she said in this video that she only actually pays herself maybe like 30-40 grand a year. That's maybe not the exact number, but I remember it wasn't high. A medium range. Like, it's a respectable amount, but it's not really that big, because she also has another partner who pays bills. And with her business income, she can also make sure that she has, like, safety funds and all of these things I would love to do one day. But but her actual revenue
and stuff,
what she makes in a year is like $40K, and, like, that's nothing.
Yeah,
it really isn't a
for
lot.
The work that you are putting in.
Yeah,
right?
And you know what? Like, I'm sure she's very comfortable with that. And she's actually, in the video, she said she made a budget, and, like, this is what she can comfortably pay herself to still have treats and you know, take herself on dates. And, like, for her, that's what works. But also, every single one of us is different. You don't know what kind of student loans she does or doesn't have. You don't know all of the other things.
The backstory, whatever happens behind the curtains.
Exactly. And maybe her partner makes, like,
a lot of
7
money.
figures. Like, you don't know this,
You
right?
don't know,
So
exactly.
And I don't mean to assume. I love the chick. I love the video. But, you know, like, you really can't assume what
That's true.
What people have in their corner. Be it a team, be it funding, be it, you know, like a rich dad, like, any respect, right? You know, if we all had a small loan of $1 million, I'm sure we could make, you know, big movements.
Of course.
But it's just so admirable to start from the square one. And when you eventually make it, imagine how much more fulfilling that is than if you, like, had everything handed to you.
That's true. And also at the end of the story, even if you are not making that much money, like even if you are not hitting like 6 figures, 7 figures, at least you are working towards your dream. You are making like your business is look like your baby, you know? Like,
I see that all the time.
yes. Like you are putting effort and money and time towards your company, towards this thing that maybe or maybe not tomorrow, like after tomorrow, like after a year or two, maybe this will bring you like a lot of money. But in the first place, like at least for me, it's like this fulfillment, this kind of dream come true that this is my formulations. This is something that I am doing. This is like my baby, you know,
like a little piece of your soul,
you know? Yes, this is like my hard work, even if it's not making money. Like it's not always about the money. Money can come like in the second kind of.
It's still the goal. But it's also not the only goal. And I think that's a really important distinction as well. Like, it's really easy to get hard on yourself. Like, I haven't made profit yet. I haven't been hitting my income goals yet. And, like, that doesn't mean you haven't still made progress. Like, what other things can you measure your success in that doesn't include money?
Money, exactly.
Like, have you finished your website recently? Or are you redoing your website?
Yes.
Or are you making these other changes within your business that in turn will lead to more money? And, like, it doesn't have to always be about
the money. Yeah. Like, it's the day-to-day progress, even quality of, like, photos, like even I don't know, like when I started, like I was taking my photos in my apartment, like from my phone or like even a scrubby camera. But now I'm hiring a photographer, or like I'm doing like headshots or something like I wasn't imagining for myself. You know, I was featured in television, breakfast TV.
Oh my god, no way! I didn't know this either.
Yeah, really.
That's so great.
Yeah, it was last December, so I couldn't imagine like 2 years ago that one day I will be in the news. I don't know. So, or at least this little district, I couldn't imagine like one day I will be selling there.
Yeah.
It's a big step, right?
Absolutely.
For a small business.
Absolutely.
So,
this conversation is really segueing easily into the next topic, or next question, I mean, of how do we go after our dreams without asking too much from ourselves?
That's a hard topic.
It is a very hard topic. And again, this is something that can't necessarily be qualified. So any perspective that you have is the right answer.
So how can we chase our dreams, but without like overworking, right?
Without overworking, or without the expectation that by chasing my dream, I have to even get there.
Okay.
Because what if the business is never 7 figures?
Yes.
Or what if, you know, you never really figure out what to do or how to do it? Like, how do we go after this dream without feeling like our dreams are crushed if we don't make it?
Yeah. Like, without hitting, like, this perfect spot that you are imagining in your head. I mean, as we were saying before, every little step that you are taking every day, every hour, like, every month, it matters. Like, it doesn't have to do with money, as we said. It's like simple steps that you are working towards. Like, I have seen this like Instagram kind of inspiration photos. There are like a lot of stairs, and the goal is at the really high. But you know, like there are these little steps that you have to jump.
Yeah,
every day.
And so everyone counts.
Yes, exactly. So you can hit this maximum goal, which is like, for now, it could be unimaginable. Like, you can think that I'm not gonna make it. I'm never gonna do it. But still, it's the attitude that you have, or like this energy that you have, like the motivation, the inspiration that you get every day to wake up in the morning and do it. Just like try at least, like. And you will see, like, even if you fail the first time, you will see that the second time, you will know by experience that you will do something else, or something better, or something different.
Or even if you fail again, you fail a little bit less hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like the little steps that will get you to the ideal goal, the perfect, I don't know, spot. Or even if you don't get to this perfect spot, it's the experience that you got from
Yeah.
all these things. So you know
Absolutely.
now in your life that, okay, these stairs, they are not working for me.
Yeah.
I have to take another stair
Yeah.
to go to my goal. You know?
Oh, absolutely. That inspires me so much. I feel like there's so much you can say on that. I feel like, first of all, if you do not go after your dreams, the consequence is never knowing. You basically just said that, and I could not imagine living the rest of my life happily without at least knowing, can I be an entrepreneur? Can I make this happen for myself? Create my own life and create my own success and my own career even. And even just trying, even if you fail, even if you don't make it to that big dream, it doesn't even have to be an expectation to make it to that big dream. You just have to try, where I'm trying this thing out and I want to see if it fits. And that's great. Like, that's
totally
perfect.
okay.
And once you get going, like for me, I've been an entrepreneur for approximately 4 years. I know you've been doing it for a while as well. And obviously the dream is I want to sell out. I want to be rich. I want to be just like living the life of luxury. And that is a great goal to have, believe me.
For you.
But this brings me back to the 80-20 rule that we were talking about a little bit earlier, where sometimes like maybe even just 80% of that big dream that you have is enough. And then life does its life thing all of the time and gives you these other curveballs where you didn't know that you would ever enjoy. Like for me, it's event planning. I never thought I would be an event planner. Please, I have never even dreamed about it. No, God, no.
God.
Like I never wanted it. But then I came across a job. This is actually how Kristiana and I met, was through an event through the city of Toronto, and we hit it off about a year ago. I never considered myself even good at it or desiring to do it, anything. And then I did it. I'm like, I'm actually amazing at this.
Yeah, I'm good at it.
Right? Exactly. And so sometimes failing on that big dream can lead you to something different. And I'm not saying like event planning is now a dream,
but still.
But now I know that it's something that can also serve me in the future, where let's say social media business, creativity, all this shit doesn't work out. I could become an event planner, you know, like there's so many different things. And when you are limiting yourself to just that one top of the stairs that you can see in your mind and you are fixed, this is what is going to happen, you can almost sabotage yourself in that sense where like you're not opening yourself up to this whole coliseum that could be around you of all of the top of the stairs, right? Like I could do amazing at social media. I could do amazing at event planning, and I could also do amazing at burger flipping.
Yes.
You know, like anything. Like it could be literally anything. And like whatever that top of the stairs looks like to you might not even come true. But I can guarantee you, if you try and you bet on yourself, that even if it doesn't come, something better will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I believe to this say, like every day, whatever happens for a reason.
Yes. I agree with that.
Even it's good, even it's bad, it has a purpose in your life. And
whether
I
it's
stick
a
with
lesson.
it, even it's something really, really bad, I know that something else will come, like from whatever I have, like from this experience.
Yeah.
So if these stairs are not leading to your goal, take the other stairs. You know?
For sure.
There are so many other options.
A hot girl knows that if she gets fired from her job, a better one is around the corner.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, totally.
I love that so much. Now, we can move pretty easily into our next topic, which is validation. So, I would love to ask with this topic, how do we seek validation in a way that is conducive to our mental health? So, to rephrase a little bit, how do we ask other people for their opinion or for advice, or to even just validate our idea as a reasonable idea? How do we do this thing without taking away from our ability to decide?
Oh my God.
Or our internal wisdom? And I know this is, again, a big question for us here.
As a person that cannot decide at all, even as a small business owner.
Before we wrap up this topic, I want to share with you a little tool that I have on that. But please, continue.
So I'm really not the good example for this topic. But
which makes you the best example, really, because people will see themselves in you.
Yeah, so I cannot decide, even if I don't know what I'm gonna wear today, what I'm gonna eat today. I cannot decide. I will ask you or other person, like other people, to make decisions for me, which is not really ideal in your everyday life, especially when you are a small business owner and you have to make decisions like that will hurt you tomorrow. Will hurt your pocket, What had helped me a lot is like this feeling in your gut that you have. It's really working. Like whatever like vibes that you are getting for anyone from any situation,
trust it.
It's trusted. Something, if it's feeling like too good to be true, something is off there.
And you might not even be able to articulate what it is that is off.
But you're gonna see it tomorrow. Like tomorrow, you will see that, oh, it's good for me that I didn't make this decision.
Like there's been times where my FOMO, like fear of missing out, is really kicking in, and like I really wanted to go to a party recently that I was invited to, but that day I fell and I had like big scratches and I was in so much pain the day it happened.
The day with the bees, right?
Yes, we were attacked by bees at the distillery district, and I didn't get stung once, but I did like literally try and slip and slide across the concrete, and it was like the worst day of my life.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. But I had a party to go to. It was actually the next day, and I was so excited. But you know what? Like, I was like, guys, like this is a pool party, and I don't think my scabs want to be in the water. Like, so I decided not to go, and I was so like at the moment, I was like, I do not want to disappoint them. I don't cancel on plans, like all of these things. But then, like, I rested. And I did nothing, and I maybe hung out with my boyfriend. Like, I did my thing. And you know what? Like, those scabs healed faster than any scab I've ever had.
Really?
And, literally. And I'm not saying it's exclusively from taking rest, but after I healed, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm ready to rumble. Like, I don't need to rest anymore. Like, I'm okay now because I had time to just, chill. Afterwards, like, after I took that time to rest, I didn't feel like I missed out on anything by not going to that party. In the moment it sucked, but then after the fact, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You have to do things that brings you joy, right?
Now, I want to talk a little bit about decisions. Because we've talked about that a little bit just in passing, where you say, I suck at making decisions. And I'll just remind you, you don't suck at making decisions. Your body makes the decision for you, but maybe it doesn't always communicate a very clear answer. Maybe there's contradictions, because that's at least my problem, is sometimes like my heart wants one thing and my gut wants another thing,
and my brain says something else,
and it's like all three of them are like, so which one do you listen to? If there's pros and cons to both options, how do you choose the right option?
Okay,
first of all, there's no right option. There's just option A and B, and whichever one works for you is whichever one works for you. But I want to share a little tool that I have been working on within myself, and it still takes practice. It's not perfect. To listeners as well, I've actually shared this in previous episodes. I'll link them in the description. The tool that I'm beating around the bush to get at is finding a way to really hone in on those voices of what is it that my head says, what is it that my heart says, what is it that my gut says. Now, which one do you listen to? You were talking about like having a gut instinct. So if you're acting on instincts, sometimes your instincts can be wrong because your instincts come from past experiences. And what happened yesterday is not always going to be the way that it's going to be. So you can then ask yourself, and another tip within this tool is scanning. If you take this instinct and you walk it up to your heart, do I feel the same way right here?
Yes.
And then you walk it up to your head, and if I think about this, even for 5 seconds, do I feel the same way that this is a trap, or, whatever? If you walk it upwards, and then all three of them are
aligned,
that's how you would align them. Because if your heart, your head, and all of them say different things, then that's not aligned, right? So that's a good way to kind of get everybody on the same page. Now, where to start in all of that is whichever one you live in most. Typically, I live in my head. Some people, they live in their gut. Some people, and these people are lucky, they live in their heart. I do not. But the key is to know where your heart is.
Yes.
So your mind, it'll play tricks on you. your gut, it'll play tricks on you. And I don't want to say that to make you think that you can't trust those instincts, but your heart knows the absolute truth. So if you can find any way to really sit with it just right here, and sometimes you can even feel like little butterflies or little sprinkles kind of happening in your actual heart or in your actual gut. Like you can really feel it in a physical sensation of that emotion. And
then do it.
And then do it, exactly. Like if your heart and your gut say the same thing, do it. If your head and your heart say the same thing, do it. And if it's just your heart saying things, like obviously do it. But I find that for myself, I know where my heart is, but I don't live there. I'm always up here.
In your mind.
Exactly.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not. I love to be reflective and introspective, and I really love to journal and to write, and I love being with my thoughts, especially because I've been practicing my thoughts to be less aggressive. Like, I don't want my thoughts to be mean to me. So every time I have a mean thought, I try and sit through that and be gentle, and I work through it, and like it makes a huge difference.
Yes.
It is not always a bad thing to live in your mind, and I love that you say that, because sometimes I'm like, God, why don't I live in my heart? I don't know many people who truly live right in their heart, but I think there's a lot of value in knowing where it is.
Yes.
Because if you're in a moment, you have to make a decision. It's like, I need to at least find somebody that can mediate these two contradictory feelings.
Yeah.
So I've identified my heart to be number one priority on like who gets the most say. But I try
maker.
Exactly. The heart is the decision maker, but I try really hard to balance it. Exactly. Like I don't want my mind to be in the driver's seat. Yeah. It can be mostly in the driver's seat, but I don't want it to have full control all the time over everything. So this is why this scanning thing really comes into play. Does that help at all with the decision?
It does. Okay. But I have a question for you related to the topic. What if you have to make a decision and you get really excited about this? Like your heart just like is flying away from your body. You feel it, that your mind says, yes, it's a really good decision. Your gut say yes. But physically, you think that it's going to be really tiring. You feel that it's going to be really hard to fulfill this. Yeah. What you going to do?
That's such an interesting question. I really love that question. And I will say, first of all, like having your full alignment. The heart says yes, the gut says yes, so does the head. All of it is in alignment. Great. I say, do it scared. Yes. Your body is feeling, oh my God, this is scary, because I'll tell you that your muscles, your body, your skin, it holds memories.
That's true.
And that can be this lifetime, that can be generational memories. And this is why, let's say, for example, you're standing on the corner of a bridge, nowhere near the edge, but suddenly you feel afraid. And you're like, I've never fallen off a bridge.
Yeah.
But you don't know, maybe somebody in your history of your lineage has fallen off a bridge, and it's been instilled in you through generations.
That's so true.
We're afraid of bridges. Yeah. But the reality is we don't need to be afraid of bridges. Yeah. That's called nervous system safety.
A side note on nervous system safety since the audio cut off. Nervous system safety, or in this context, unsafety, is your hypothalamus, which lives deep in your brain and controls your autonomic nervous system, manages your hormones, and wants to keep your body in a state of homeostasis. In other words, if you're not a science nerd, your hypothalamus controls your body's ability to feel balanced. Your body, nervous system, and hormones operate on cycles. They fluctuate and release at different times to accomplish different functions in the body, such as adrenaline when you're being chased by a bear, dopamine when you won crazy eights against your nephews, and the thyrotropin-releasing hormone when your body starts to shake from anxiety on the side of a bridge even when you know that you're completely safe. In certain circumstances, this system can become dysregulated. Sometimes when you're making decisions or taking action in your life towards something that matters, your body releases hormones to tell your nerves, this matters. And even when head, heart, and gut are all in alignment, your alarm bells are still ringing. I'm sure you've heard the term of intrusive thoughts. Well, this is an intrusive feeling. It's kind of like the fear of making money. This is a really weird one, but some people have a fear of actually making a lot of money in their life because what if it gets taken away? Or what if it's still not enough? Or what if I don't deserve it? Like, these are all feelings that we can get towards something positive that feel negative. And this is just a matter of your body being in that state of equilibrium. Your body is telling you, this matters to me, and we need to take extra precaution when we are taking action towards it. I say, do things scared. This does not mean do things dangerously or recklessly. This means that if your head, heart, and gut all agree, and even when your hypothalamus is hypothalamusing, you still owe it to yourself to try. Prove your hypothalamus and your thyroid who is boss. Prove your body that there's nothing to be afraid of. Back to the episode.
I must say, I've come to Kristiana's apartment to film this interview, and I'm just so impressed, first of all, with the setup. I know I said before, but I have never had a setup like this, and to be able to do it has just been such a blessing, and I really want to thank you for hosting at your place. But not only did this chick have plants and props and 2 cameras and lights and all the things, she also fed me dinner. And I wasn't expecting it.
I can do for you.
It was so amazing. And I just, like, that's the hostess with the mostest right there. So I actually, before we wrap up this topic, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to go check out Kristiana on Instagram. Is there anywhere else that people can keep in touch with you?
We're on social media, I mean, TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, it's all the same handle.
Yeah, it's LaboterraCosmetics and LaboterraCosmetics.
Amazing. So LaboterraCosmetics, LaboterraCosmetics.
Yeah.
Check her out anywhere that you're active on social media. But let's wrap up this conversation with our last topic of the day on self-care. So this whole topic has been on self-care, but I really wanted to end on this so that we can really hammer home how self-care impacts our lives and how a lack thereof impacts our lives. So to bring us to the question portion, how do we develop little doses of self-care practices on a daily basis as busy people, rather than falling into the trap of all or nothing? So I want to explain that a little bit. All or nothing is like, it's actually something that you explained to me when we were working together, where sometimes you get into this energy of all or nothing, where you're like, I'm going to put on every lotion, every cream, every serum, I'm going to do my hair, I'm going to take a long shower, I'm going to take a nap, and it's like, all of the self-care, but then for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, it's nothing. Which I want to stress, there's no problem with that, because you're doubling down on your self-care to last a longer time. But is there a value in having these micro doses that outweighs the bigger doses, or can we compare them in any way?
I think it depends on the person. But
very true.
Both of them, they
and
work.
Your schedule.
Yes, and your schedule. But both of them work perfectly, as long as you do them. You have to to do either or. Yes. During hard periods of time that you have you are really busy, you have to make a lot of decisions in your life. You're busy. Your working schedule is 9 to 9. Not 9 to 5 anymore. Yeah. I found it's working for me. It's going to bed early. And by that, I mean taking a shower every night, and then just applying a face cream or applying a body cream. I don't know, something that will make me feel good. Yeah. Or changing your bed sheets I don't know, more frequently, and all these smells or aromas or something you feel. I have this thing that whenever I feel clean, I feel relaxed. I don't know, it's a weird thing.
I love that. That's totally fair.
So, you have showered, you have applied all these lotions and stuff, and you go sleep in clean bed sheets and they smell this good aroma. Yeah. It's oh my god.
I'm a princess now.
Yes, exactly. The perfect spot, and it's relaxing. It's self-care for me at least. But either the other option, you don't have any time, so you are working and you don't have time to shower, or you don't have time to do all these fancy things. Even that works well. I mean,
I would say just kind of what's coming to my mind from this is doing the all self-care, where you're having all of the things, all the tasks,
all shaving and
all of the things, shaving too. If you are using that as your main form of self-care, you might notice maybe a month from now you're oh my gosh, I feel so low, I'm heavy, I'm groggy, I just hate life, whatever. Do your freaking self-care. That should be your number one step before like calling your doctor to say that your whole life sucks.
Yeah.
There's also balance in that, because I would say that if you only really truly have the time to take like half an hour or 2 hours even, let's say like once a month for your self-care, that's totally valid. If you don't have the time for that, but you do have time for like 5 minutes a day, totally valid. What if we had both?
It's even
better, right? Like something that I try, and it's funny because I didn't realize that I did this until talking about it, is I do the same thing with I do opposite with micro doses. Like my main self-care is micro doses of little tiny self-care, like 10 minutes painting, 2 seconds applying lotion, like, and I'll do it like maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah, just randomly, right?
Randomly, like when I feel like it, I'll put on different earrings today, or just whatever it is. I'll do something small for myself a few times a week, and I would love to do it every day, but I don't always feel like it, and that's okay. But then also, maybe once a month, maybe it's the full moon or the new moon, who cares? That's when you shave your whole body, you lather up with lotion, and you're like, and it's like, then you do like the whole routine, and it's like,
I'm your personnel.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like 2 different gifts for yourself, where it's like, I'm giving myself this 10 minutes of my day because it's my day and I say so, and I'm going to take a whole ass day to take care of myself, because it doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be both.
It could be both. At least you have to do one.
At least one, if not the other, if not both. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be part of your, like, we live in a new world. Like, it's not the same as, like, I don't know, 90, 60 something.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to, like, sound ages, like how to say this. Yeah. But
ages.
Still, but still, like, times has been changed.
Oh,
like,
absolutely. And they're supposed to, because, like, you know, in 2070, we're going to be the old farts who are like, in my day.
Yeah. We used to, like, use Instagram and TikTok and
like,
stuff.
what's that? Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, we have like a lot of things to do in our daily routine. There are distractions, a lot of distractions.
Oh, yes.
So we have to make time. Like, it's a must nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, for my parents or grandparents, taking like a 5 minutes self-care or like doing something for yourself would sound like a luxury. Would say to you like, oh my god, why you are doing this? Like, you have free time or something?
Yeah.
You have like a pile of things to do there, so why you don't do that? But it doesn't work like this, right?
It doesn't.
I don't know if you have the same.
No, I absolutely do. It's like, you have a day off. Like, what are you doing today?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you taking your laundry down to the creek and washing it on your washboard? Like, that's what sounds ageist. But I definitely agree with you that we have shifted in our society to have a different outlook on self-care, and I am living for it. But this is also what makes self-care so important, because not everybody knows how to do it, and this can be generational, it can be individual, it doesn't matter. Not everybody knows how to take care of themselves, or how to relieve stress, or how to let go of things, and like, honestly, nobody really knows, but we can learn how we do it.
Yes.
And something that's also coming to mind is that you mentioned that we are so full of distractions, and you are so right that we live in an age of technology, and we live with these stupid things glued to our faces, and it is so toxic for us to only exist on social media, or to only exist online. And I'm not going to demonize it. We should be on social media. We should utilize the tools that we have in this day and age, because that's what keeps us current.
Exactly, yes.
And that's okay. It's okay to have these distractions. It's okay to escape sometimes. But there is so much value in walking through the grass barefoot.
Yes.
Or, just
living at the moment.
Living in the moment. Or maybe one day you don't have to answer your emails, and you put your phone in a drawer and you don't touch it.
I want to do this so bad.
I want to too, but I feel like I'm addicted. And it's like, I probably am, but like, these little things to let us just like step back into the fact that like, we are human beings, we are animals, we are creatures, we're not machines. Like,
just be offline for a day, like, I don't know, like, I
don't
know how to explain it, but
I would love if it was a whole day, but even if it was like an hour a day.
Yes.
Even if it was an hour before bed, that's really my goal. And I'm saying this because not because I've achieved it, but because I want to achieve it. Like, to have an hour without technology a day, and then maybe one day that turns into 2 hours, and then that turns into 1 day a week. Who knows? But I'm not going to give up technology. I love video games.
Of
I
course,
love
yeah.
texting. I love
Everything nowadays is like online, so we
Yeah.
can't leave. Like,
No.
this is the new generation.
It is.
It's part of our lives. But we have to learn to live with a balance of
Yeah.
like online and offline
Yeah.
life, right?
And to not forget where we've come from, because online is not real. It really is not real. People only share curated, perfect,
Yes.
picturesque versions of themselves, and not their like funny tummy rolls, and not their
Wide.
ugly selfie, or like none of the bad things end up online. And if they do, it's a sob story where you're meant to feel bad for them, and that's also okay. But like, online can be toxic. It can also be beautiful. It can also be a place for inspiration and motivation, and it can be so powerful as a tool depending on how you use it. And
That's true.
just like finding ways to serve yourself with whatever it is that you practice, be it painting, be it technology breaks.
Just be present. Like, at the moment.
Exactly. Just being present with it, I think, is so invaluable to just like our health, just to our health, to our practice of self-care, to anything, really.
To being a living organism.
Yeah, a balanced person.
A balanced person, exactly.
Absolutely.
This is a really good point, actually, like the balance of being online and offline in today's world, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have seen, like, if you have any cousins or family that they are like younger than you, they're like 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They are, I don't know, they are stuck with their tablets. They are stuck with
Oh my God, chronically
I feel
online.
like so bad.
I know, and it's so funny because like when I was a kid, we did have technology as a kid, but we didn't have it in the same access. Our parents put limits on it, and our parents took it away if we were on it at bedtime. Like we did not have this constant access, and I do feel really bad. I also am so curious as to how the world will change when they grow up. What happens when they're forced to sit in traffic and not text for 3 hours, and like they're bored out of their mind, or like what happens when like
I don't know, the power of the city will.
I don't know. What if the sun just takes away all of our satellites, which it's totally capable of doing, and we have no internet anymore?
Yeah,
it's possible.
It is possible.
On a side note, a tangent about the sun. Did you know the sun is probably one of my biggest fears? Not to mention the common fears of skin cancer and the sun expanding and swallowing the earth whole, but there's more to it. Did you know that the reason we have wind is because the sun is creating space wind, which wobbles our atmosphere and creates waves in the air around us? Our atmosphere prevents all of our loose matter from floating into space, and also acts as a cushion to slow down space matter when it impacts us. The atmosphere is why we have semi-regular temperatures rather than being negative 10,000 degrees at night. But did you know that the atmosphere, which is like a thin bubble wrapped around us, could be stripped away at any instant from the sun? It just needs to decide to do it. Another horrifying fact about the sun is that it could choose to wipe out all of our satellites and access to technology, and we wouldn't know it was happening until it was too late. Imagine the infrastructure that would collapse without technology. I, for one, know I would be completely without a job. I'd be screwed, and so would the world. The pure grandeur of the sun earns my respect and gives me gratitude to live on a planet with internet access. It also reminds me that nothing is permanent, not even the sun, and we need to make sure to touch grass sometimes, and to walk on the beach, and to do things that we enjoy that don't involve technology. Anyway, back to what Kristiana was saying about the next generation and technology.
Having any kind of foot in reality can really help you pivot away from technology if it ever becomes necessary.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel really bad for
I
them
wanted
too.
to point this out because this is how like the next generation is engraved. This is how we have been engraved, like programmed from like a young age to what we are living today. That's how we have built this like kind of like toxic of like being busy and like being on the cell phone all the time, because we used to do the same when we were like younger, at the younger age, like 6-7 years old. So by that I want to say that we have to take care of our younger generation, because whatever we are doing now,
we will example to them.
Yes,
absolutely.
And if like the kids will see like the parents that they are always busy, they don't have time, they are not practicing self-care, they are not practicing, I don't know, family time, you know, like just leaving the cell phones like out of like just being present, or like just having a normal dinner without the cell phone, or like being on Instagram or stuff. This is also part of self-care. This is part of like being present.
Absolutely.
Another fun thing that, it's the last thing that I say. Another thing that I want to share with you is that my parents recently came here, so every moment that I am with them, I feel like really, really happy to just sit with them, like have a normal conversation. And they were like during this period of like final exams, and I was really busy. And even if I had like 5 minutes that I wanted to spend, these 5 minutes that I was saying that I have to relax and then get back to work, I would rather spend it with my parents. I'd rather spend it with my family, or like with my cousins, or like with my friends, and just like being there, like just being physically there, so I can talk to somebody, so I can be offline. This gave me a lot of power, a lot of inspiration, so I can move forward. I can go back to work. I can be like more energetic, or more,
and also just that little bit nurtured as well, because they also love that time with you, right?
Yeah.
I love that. And I actually do basically the exact same. I live with my grandparents, God love them. They have no idea what I do for work. They do not get it, and that's
so
okay.
Hard, right?
It just is what it is. They'll never get it, and that's okay with me. But every time that I think, like, I'm not doing anything right now, I go down and I just talk to them. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours. Sometimes it turns into a whole afternoon.
Conversation.
Yeah, and like I just let it happen organically as much as I can, because I know if I'm craving that connection with them, then I'll be fully present with them. And like my least favorite thing is being in a space with them where I'm not present, because I love them and they love me, and we want to connect and they want to share time with me. And when I'm preoccupied, I'm more easily irritable, or I'm more easily I'm less likely to listen. And like I hate having that energy towards them, and it's just my own humanness. It'll happen and it will always happen, but managing my own energy and my own time to be able to be like, when is the best time to go and spend 15 minutes to have coffee with my grandmother, and taking that opportunity when I have it.
Yeah, that's so important. Like,
it is
this
so
is precious. You will remember of this moment like 30, 40 years from now, and you will say like, oh my god, I had this moment. I had this moment with my grandmother.
I think everybody, like especially those who are not fortunate enough to have their grandparents at 26, or maybe they are listening and they're older and their grandparents have passed away, like I'm sure every single one of us just like wishes to have that one last cup of tea with their grandma. And like I don't take a single one of them for granted, because I just know that they are not forever.
Yes.
They are organic matter too, and as much as I want them to live forever, that they won't. And life is not permanent.
It is not.
And like that maybe is like a little bit morbid, but it's really humbling sometimes when you're sitting there in your bed and it's been like, and I'm not proud of this, but this has happened where it's like it's been 2 weeks and you haven't really gotten out of your bed because you've just been on your phone.
Yeah.
And it's like I've been in a hole and I haven't wanted to do anything and I didn't know what to do, and like just bleh. So I just enable myself by escaping onto my phone, and I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm playing games, like, and it's like it's terrible. And then you realize you're like, oh my god, 2 weeks have passed and I've barely done anything.
I barely lived, right?
Barely lived. And it's like 2 weeks is a long time. It's not a long time, and it is at the same time. Like, your life is made up of 2 week increments.
Yes.
Like, every 2 weeks counts, and like, that's those baby steps towards that ladder of success, right? But again, there's balance in that, because that 2 weeks, I'm sure, was a self-care moment that I needed, and I took it, and that is okay.
To recharge.
But it's not necessarily a healthy, permanent situation,
right?
like a coping mechanism to get caught into.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, this was a very, very lovely chat. I want to wrap this conversation up, and although I have to let you go, I don't want to. I can see it on both of our faces that we're tired. I can't see my own face, but I know what I feel like. We are both tired, so let's wrap up this conversation. But before I let everybody go, I just want to say again, thank you so much for not only being here with me on this show, but also for hosting in your home. That is so, so special to me. You don't even believe it. You wouldn't get it. It's so huge. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And us being my audience here with you in your lovely home. And it's seriously so great. Her and her husband have moved here from Greece, and they are like both in business, both have their own businesses, and like I'm just so impressed by everything. I highly recommend reach out to her on Instagram, say hi, let us know if we spoke to you at all in this episode, if something really resonated with you. Either one of us would really love to. But
well, it was a pleasure being here with you today. Thank you for including me to your podcast.
I'm glad we finally did it.
Yes, I'm so happy that we finally made our plans
I know.
in reality, you know. Thank you for everything.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And who knows, if all goes well, maybe we can do this again one day.
Yes.
Next year.
Yes.
Just teasing.
2024.
Just teasing. But yes. Thanks so much. Catch you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with me, and if you enjoyed today's topic, now is a great moment to subscribe. If you have any feedback about today's topic, please reach out to my social channels. I help creative entrepreneurs market their creations in a way that feels authentic. I have a self-study marketing program that covers basic and advanced marketing concepts with 9 modules and activity sheets. I also sell content creation templates to help you manage your social media with unlimited content creation ideas. And I also offer one-on-one marketing consulting services. Check out my socials and my website to learn more. If you're interested in working with me, please reach out via email. So that's social media if you're reaching out for my podcast, and email if you're reaching out for business. All relevant contact links are in the description, and thanks again for listening. Cheers for now. That was pretty good.